I want to discuss tax issues arising on termination of employment, and effectively uh, what will happen is that when you receive a termination payment for lost income arising from termination of employment, either wrongful dismissal or human rights, that payment will be taxable income. Now, if it's a wrongful dismissal claim and you have room in your RSP allocation, you can put that sum of money into an RSP without tax at source. That's not a tax avoidance, it's a tax deferral. So when you later receive those funds from your RSP, you will pay tax on it. If there is a lost income claim under human rights, it's unlikely you can put those funds into an RSP because that requires termination of employment, and if you're in a human rights circumstance seeking reinstatement, that may complicate things. So let's asterisk that momentarily. Any legal fees you incur can be deducted from the amount you have to repay, and that's net legal fees. So I'll discuss legal costs generally in a civil action in a later video, but to the extent you're out of pocket in legal fees, that can be deducted from the tax you have to pay. Any sums that are referable to aggravated damages, that is, damages for emotional suffering due to unfair conduct, or punitive damages, are not taxable. So when you're negotiating a settlement, you want to keep an eye on that issue. If you can reasonably allocate something to aggravated damages and the employer agrees, then there's no obligation to pay tax on those funds. Generally speaking, if it's not set out in the minutes of settlement and the payment is a strict severance payment, then not only is it taxable, but you have to also be subject to a 30%, well, it's graded, but if it's over 20,000, I believe, it's a 30% tax withholding at source. So I will discuss in a subsequent video issues on settlement involving tax and also EI repayment. But just heads up momentarily that the severance payment, again, for lost income, taxable, aggravated damage is not, punitive damage is not, human rights lost income, taxable, human rights emotional suffering, non-taxable, human rights future lost income, not taxable. And as a further issue, which is a very unusual situation, if you're terminated before your employment actually starts, if the employer says, hey, we're going to hire you October 1st, and then September the 15th, it terminates the relationship, any funds you receive due to that circumstance, that you're getting compensation for loss of the job before the position starts, that's non-taxable. I did a presentation somewhere above on negligent misrepresentation. Those damages are also likely non-taxable. Again, I'll discuss these issues overall when conducting a settlement and setting out the terms of settlement in the minutes of settlement.